Congratulations to CDGA on 100 years.
For 100 years, the Chicago District Golf Association has stood for excellence in this extraordinary game of golf. Now the CDGA's magazine comes to life on TV. Chicago District Golfer celebrates the traditions of the past while connecting with the present. It's a golf show that is sure to inform and to have a little fun along the way. For what's important in Chicago golf, it's Chicago District Golfer TV.
On this season premiere, we look back on golf in Chicago before the CDGA. We'll play show and tell with a few new golf items for 2014. We have lots of instruction, including a tip from one of the top players on the planet. The Champions Tour is getting ready to come back to Chicago. We'll take you to a new custom-fit golf experience. And we visit a warm and friendly English-style 19th hole. Hello, I'm Jill Carlson, and welcome to Chicago District Golfer in this special milestone centennial year of the CDGA. Golf in Chicago before the CDGA? Well, surprisingly, there's a lot going on around the turn of the century. Courses were popping up all over town. There were advances in golf equipment and big-time tournaments in the area.
Chicago, along with New York and probably Philadelphia, are the three most influential cities in golf in America.
The club at the forefront of all these developments was Chicago Golf in Wheaton. The club hosted 3 U.S. Opens and 4 U.S. Amateurs between 1897 and 1912. The immortal C.B. McDonald was the architect of Chicago golf, a fine player in his own right with an ego to match. He designed the course so all of the out of bounds was on the left to favor his pronounced fade. However, he attempted to grow the game by educating people who had no clue about this new sport.
He tried to convince people to play golf. And of course, think about trying to convince people. You take a club, you hit this little ball, and you hope it goes into a hole. I mean, without a whole lot of vision or trying it out, it was pretty hard to convince.
Famous amateur Chick Evans planted plenty of seeds in the Windy City and beyond. He developed his game at the defunct Edgewater Golf Club in Rogers Park and went on to win the Western Open at Beverly in 1910. The legendary Donald Ross designed this gem on Chicago's South Side.
There are around 40 clubs that were around when the CDGA was formed that are still around. The CDGA had fewer charter members, but they all joined in the next few years. Some of the great clubs and great courses in America are among that group. Exmoor, which has been a leader for a long time. Midlothian, which held a U.S. Open won by Walter Hagen the year before the CDGA was formed, beating Chick Evans by 1 shot in 1913 in rather dramatic fashion himself, and Chick almost holed out.
Right before the CDGA opened its doors, another Donald Ross course was being developed just west of Chicago, Oak Park Country Club. Playing it's like taking a fun step back in time. Along with the CDGA, Oak Park reaches a milestone celebrating its 100th anniversary this year.
It's kind of like the pinnacle of golf to be celebrating 100 years, right? The CDGA, 100 years, Wrigley Field, 100 years.
Chicago Golf was also an equipment testing ground of the day thanks to the Fowlis brothers who came over from St. Andrews in Scotland. They invented the modern cup and flagstick and the Machiniblik, which you may know as a 7-iron. One day they brought out some old refurbished golf balls and made an interesting discovery.
And one ball went further and straighter consistently. And he kind of thought, well, this is odd. Why is this ball doing better than the other balls? So he went back to his shop and cut it open and found out it was a Haskell ball, the rubber core ball. And what the difference was between this rubber core ball than what the Haskell designed, he put the Agrippa or the bramble finish on it, and that was where you had the bumps on top of the ball, so the trajectory of it went straighter.
There's so much history with golf in Chicago during this era. From the development of Onwensia Club in Lake Forest, which still stands today, to the old Washington Park racetrack, which actually had holes played inside and around the track.
Those greens were transplanted to the South Shore Country Club when it was building its new 9 holes. And as far as I know, those holes haven't really been revised. So if you want to go putt on 110-year-old greens, in fact 120 if you go all the way back to the start, get yourself to South Shore, which is now of course a public course, and give yourself a roll or two out there.
By the way, the very private Chicago Golf is still thriving as the nation's oldest 18-hole course. In recent times, the course hosted the 2005 Walker Cup. Well, you saw Adam Scott at the top of our show. A little later on, he'll give us some insight as to how he hits his driver. It's time for a quick break. When we return, we'll take a gander at some fun new products for 2014.